Good morning, everyone. Today, we delve into Chapter 5 of American Political Science, which explores the intricate relationship between politics and economic models. This chapter not only examines the foundational concepts of political economy, but also contrasts different systems such as capitalism, socialism, and communism. Let's dive into this essential discourse that shapes our understanding of government and economics. Introduction to Political Economy. Politics and economics are deeply intertwined. Political decisions profoundly impact economic outcomes, and economic conditions often influence political decisions. Our goal today is to examine how these two realms interact, focusing specifically on capitalism and socialism. Understanding capitalism. Capitalism is fundamentally an economic system characterized by private ownership of the means of production and the operation of markets. As Adam Smith outlined in his seminal work, The Wealth of Nations, 1776, capitalism relies on the principles of individual autonomy and free market competition. Smith argued that when individuals pursue their economic self-interest, they inadvertently benefit society at large through the mechanism of the invisible hand. Under capitalism, the government's role is ideally limited to protecting property rights and maintaining a competitive marketplace. Individual freedom and minimal governmental intervention are central tenets. This model presumes that competition drives innovation, efficiency, and economic growth. However, capitalism also generates significant wealth disparities. Critics argue that this system inherently favors those who already possess capital, creating economic inequality and potentially undermining democratic processes by allowing disproportionate influence of the wealthy on political decisions. Exploring socialism. In contrast, socialism involves collective or state ownership of the means of production. Socialists argue for governmental intervention to manage resources, ensuring more equitable distribution. Under this model, the government owns significant economic sectors, including healthcare, education, and transportation, which it provides to citizens, often free or at low cost. Socialism aims to reduce economic inequality by redistributing wealth through extensive social programs. While this can improve access to essential services, critics highlight potential inefficiencies and lack of incentives for innovation and productivity inherent in socialist systems. Communism and its distinctions. Communism represents an extreme form of socialism, characterized by the abolition of private property entirely and the means of production controlled by the state. In practice, communist states often become authoritarian, controlled by a single political party. Communist governments, such as China, operate through oligarchic rule, limiting political participation to select party members. This control often leads to significant restrictions on individual liberties, including freedoms of expression and political dissent. Governments and regimes. Politics, derived from the Greek politika, refers to how societies organize, govern, and resolve conflicts over resources and values. Governments can vary significantly, ranging from democracies to authoritarian and totalitarian systems, each dictating how political and economic power is exercised. In democracies, power originates from the people, typically exercised through elections and representative institutions. This contrasts starkly with authoritarian or totalitarian regimes, where power is concentrated in the hands of a few, often maintained through coercion and extensive ideological control. Now let's move to another section, theories of power. Understanding the distribution and exercise of power within political systems is crucial. This chapter delves into several influential theoretical frameworks, each providing a unique perspective. Pluralist theory suggests that political power is decentralized and dispersed among multiple competing groups. No single entity dominates entirely, enabling a democratic balance where diverse voices influence policy through competition, negotiation, and compromise. For instance, in the United States, various interest groups such as labor unions, AFL-CIO, business organizations, U.S. Chamber of Commerce, civil rights groups, NAACP, and advocacy groups, Sierra Club, actively shape public policy through lobbying, advocacy, and electoral participation. The policy-making process thus reflects a complex interplay of these various interests, preventing any one group from monopolizing influence. Elitist theory presents a contrasting perspective, arguing that power is concentrated in the hands of a relatively small, privileged elite who dominate major decisions, often irrespective of democratic procedures. These elites typically consist of influential individuals from political, economic, and military sectors who shape significant policies to reflect their own interests rather than the broader public good. Russia provides a stark example where political decisions and economic resources are disproportionately controlled by a network of oligarchs and political insiders closely tied to the ruling administration, significantly limiting genuine democratic accountability. Bureaucratic theory focuses on the considerable influence exercised by bureaucratic institutions and administrative agencies. According to this perspective, professional bureaucrats, civil servants, and government officials hold substantial, often independent power due to their expertise, continuity, and access to specialized information. As a result, elected officials may find themselves constrained by bureaucratic structures that dictate the practical implementation of policy. Japan is frequently cited as an example, particularly the influential role of ministries like the Ministry of Economy, Trade, and Industry, METI, which significantly shape national policies on economic development and industrial strategy. Social movement theory emphasizes the transformative power of collective action and civic engagement, arguing that organized grassroots movements can significantly influence political change. Movements emerge when groups rally around common grievances or shared aspirations, mobilizing widespread public support to pressure governments and institutions. The U.S. civil rights movement illustrates this theory effectively, where sustained protests, boycotts, and public campaigns successfully dismantled institutionalized racial segregation and achieved substantial civil rights reforms, significantly reshaping American society and politics. Together, these theories provide a comprehensive framework for understanding the diverse and dynamic ways in which power is structured and exercised within political and economic systems. Now let us look at types of liberty. Types of liberty. The concept of liberty is central to political philosophy, shaping ideological debates about the role of government and individual freedoms. Isaiah Berlin's influential distinction between negative and positive liberty provides a foundational framework for understanding these debates. Negative liberty refers to freedom from external interference, particularly emphasizing minimal governmental intervention in personal affairs. It highlights an individual's right to act without constraints imposed by others, especially the state. Negative liberty underpins classical liberal and libertarian ideologies, stressing protections such as freedom of speech, religion, property rights, and limited regulation. The United States constitutionally embodies negative liberty, notably through the Bill of Rights, which explicitly protects citizens from excessive government intervention. Positive liberty focuses on the freedom to actively realize one's full potential and achieve self-mastery through supportive state intervention. This concept argues that genuine freedom requires enabling conditions such as education, healthcare, and social security, allowing individuals to meaningfully pursue their personal and professional aspirations. Positive liberty aligns closely with socialist and social democratic perspectives, advocating policies that empower individuals by providing necessary resources and support systems. Scandinavian countries like Sweden and Denmark exemplify positive liberty through comprehensive public education, robust welfare systems, and universal health care, ensuring that individuals have the opportunities and resources needed to thrive. This philosophical divide between negative and positive liberty significantly influences ideological debates, especially between capitalist, which typically favors negative liberty, and socialist or social democratic ideologies, advocating for positive liberty. These expanded sections offer deeper insight into the critical theories of power and liberty, providing robust examples and clear explanations to enrich our understanding of political systems. Thank you for watching this lecture.